to recite this verse against Muawiyah in most of the streets and on the roads of Syria. When he recited it, the poor and the needy surrounded him, and often they complained to him of the pleasure-seeking of the rich governors and of their own poverty. Muawiyah used to get the information of his preaching activities regularly. At last, he imposed severe restrictions upon him and inflicted tortures on him from all sides. When even this much did not work, he threatened Abu Dhar with death. When Abu Dhar heard the threat of death, he said, "The dynasty of Umayyah threatens me with poverty and death. I wish to tell them that poverty is more desirable to me than richness, and I like to be under the ground rather than to be above it. I am neither cowed down by the threatening of death, nor by death itself." Allama Majlisi writes on the authority of Sheikh Mufid what the Syrians said about the great sermons of Abu Dhar. When Uthman exiled Abu Dhar from Medina and sent him to Syria, he took his residence in our midst, and started a series of speeches, which stirred us quite a lot. He used to begin his speech with the praise of Allah and the Prophet, and then said, "Love for the progeny of the Prophet is obligatory on all. One who is without love for them will not even smell the fragrance of heaven." He then added, "O people, listen to me. I used to honor my covenants before acknowledging Islam, during the days of ignorance, before the revelations of the Quran and before the appointment of the Prophet. I told the truth, treated my neighbors with sympathy, considered hospitality my duty, was generous to the poor, and let them share my riches with me. When, afterwards, Allah revealed His book and appointed His Prophet, I inquired about the matters, and came to know that the same manners and customs that were ours were also contained in the exhortations of the Prophet. O people, it is most befitting for the Muslims to adopt good morals. It is true that the Muslims acted according to the precepts of Islam, but my friends, the behavior of the Muslims was good for a short time. Then it so happened that the tyrants showed such evil deeds, as we had not seen before. These people destroyed the traditions of the Prophet, introduced innovations, and contradicted the person who told the truth, joined a group of wicked people, and forsook them who were pious and worthy. O Allah, take my soul if you have for me better things with you than those which are in this world, before I distort your faith or change the tradition of your Prophet. O people, be attached to the worship of Allah and desist from sins." Then he described the merits of al-Bayt which he had heard from the Prophet and advised people to stick with the al-Bayt. The Syrians say that they listened to his speeches intently, and a great crowd of people gathered round him when he delivered a sermon, till Muawiyah informed Uthman of these happenings. Consequently he called Abu Dhar to Medina. As Abu Dhar had greatly vexed Muawiyah through his religious lectures, he, in order to silence him, somehow took courage to send him a bag of money because he could not think of any other means to do it. Scholars and historians say that Muawiyah, in order to silence Abu Dhar, dispatched a bag of 300 gold dinars to him through his special envoy. Seeing this, he said, "Tell Muawiyah that I need no money from him," and returned the bag. 14. Abu Dhar had seen with his own eyes after the death of the Prophet all those tragic events which the progeny of the Prophet were forced to face. Anyway, troubles surrounded Abu Dhar from all sides. Great tortures afflicted him at the hands of Bani Umayyah. Oppressions were let loose on him. But he did not show any weakness and did not refrain from his preaching activities. He now started more serious attacks. Abdullah Sabaiti, Abdul Hamid Misri and Manazir Hassan Gilani say that Abu Dhar kept on performing the duty of preaching regularly and giving warning of painful chastisement to the hoarders. At last, Muawiyah began to think of plans to save himself from his biting remarks and to frustrate his mission. He concluded, however, that there could be a chance of freedom from the attacks if hoarding is proved with those who speak against it. Therefore, he hit upon a plan, and got convinced that it would surely hit the target. Ibn Athir, after mentioning the Quranic verses, writes that when Abu Dhar could not be silenced in any way, Muawiyah sent somebody with 1,000 dinars to Abu Dhar at night. Abu Dhar took the money and distributed it among the needy before dawn and did not keep even a single coin for himself. Muawiyah, after the morning prayer, called the man who had taken the gold coins to Abu Dhar, ordered him to go to Abu Dhar and tell him in a feigned anxiety, "O Abu Dhar, save me from the torture of Muawiyah. Muawiyah had sent those gold coins to somebody else, and I have delivered them to you by sheer mistake. The messenger of Muawiyah went to him and told him exactly in the same manner what Muawiyah had taught him. Abu Dhar said, O son, tell Muawiyah that the money sent by him was distributed among the needy before the day dawned. I have none of the coins at this moment with me, and if he has a mind to take them back he should give me 3 days' time, during which I will provide them to him from somewhere. That man repeated the same thing to Muawiyah, who said, undoubtedly Abu Dhar does himself what he asks others to do. 15. Abdullah Sabayti, after quoting this incident, writes in a philosophical passage that Abu Dhar was a personality of a very lofty character. Bani Umayyah showed great short-sightedness in understanding him, that is why they felt the need of such a political swindling. Abdul Hamid Misri writes after this incident, Muawiyah understood that Abu Dhar was true to his words. He spent all the dinars in one night. Muawiyah failed to achieve his purpose. He showed leniency to Abu Dhar but to no avail. Then he used violence against him but to no effect. In the end, he wanted to purchase him for 300 dinars, but could not succeed. 16. Abu Dhar was busy preaching in Syria when the time of Hajj arrived. He sought the permission of Uthman and expressed his wish to go out of Syria to pilgrimage and to stay at the shrine of the Holy Prophet for a few days. Uthman sent him the letter of permission from Medina and Abu Dhar went for Hajj. He performed Hajj and he went to Medina. He stayed near the grave of the Prophet for a few days and then came back to Syria. On his return from Hajj again he restarted his preaching activity. On one side he was using his full force in exhortations, and on the other side innumerable applications of the rich people were reaching Muawiyah to seal Abu Dhar's lips. The main theme of these applications was that people recited on the roads and streets the verse of the Quran in which there is a warning for the moneyed people being branded with the heated gold and silver, thus creating difficulty in their passage to Syria. Because of it, Muawiyah got it proclaimed that nobody was allowed to be in the company of Abu Dhar or sit with him. 17. When Abu Dhar got the news of this social boycott, he himself began to ask people not to come to him or sit with him. This was because he thought that if somebody came to him, he would be subjected to torture by the government. But as he could not help preaching, he himself reached the place where some people had gathered and began to perform his duty. According to Ibn Khaldun, when a group of people went to see him after this order of social boycott, Abu Dhar himself asked them to leave and remain away from him. 18. It appears from al-Baladuri's report that those people who had contacts with Abu Dhar and listened to his speeches were more severely dealt with than Abu Dhar himself. 19. How courageous Abu Dhar was. He did not tolerate any severity to those who used to visit him and did not want them to suffer any inconvenience. But so far as his personal sentiments were concerned, he insisted on expressing them with full faith and fervor. He never bothered about any gain and loss in the way of Allah. Abu Dhar was a truthful man. He used to admonish others fearlessly to do lawful acts. Muawiyah was a worldly man. Abu Dhar very often used to direct him to do what is good till people began to feel ashamed of the residents of Syria. One day Muawiyah said to Abu Dhar, "You are not so virtuous as to direct me to do good deeds before the public." Hearing this, Abu Dhar said, "Be quiet. Shame on you." In short, when Muawiyah could not mend his ways and could not suppress Abu Dhar's tongue, he decided to banish him from Syria. Consequently, he resolved to send him to Jabal al-Amul. Sabayti says that when Abu Dhar called the people there towards al-Bayt, they readily accepted the invitation. As the area was quite extensive, his call did not remain confined only within the internal limits of Jabal al-Amul but reached the adjoining areas as well. It is obvious that Muawiyah had sent Abu Dhar from Syria to Jabal al-Amul only because he thought that his preaching activities among those strangers would come to a standstill, but when he came to know that Abu Dhar with his fiery speech had made the people in Jabal al-Amul inclined towards the truth, he called him back to Syria immediately. Allama Sabayti writes that Abu Dhar made the people devotees of al-Bayt through his preachings and laid the foundations of 2 masjids there, one at Surfand, which is situated near the riverbank between Sur and Seda, and the second in Mies, situated at Hawla. 20. Abu Dhar restarted his work on his arrival in Syria. He used to sit at the gate of Damascus, after the morning prayers, and when he saw the line of camels laden with the government-owned goods he called in a loud voice, "People, this line of camels that is coming is not laden with goods but with fire. Accursed be the people, who direct others to do good but do not do good themselves, and woe be to those who prohibit others from evils but commit them themselves." 21. Then he rose from there and went to the gate of Muawiyah's palace and made the same speech. This had become his routine and he used to do it regularly. At last, Muawiyah got him arrested. Abu Dhar had in view the tradition, which has been quoted by Khatib al-Baghdadi and Ahmad ibn Hanbal. According to this tradition, the Holy Prophet said to his companions, "O my companions, listen attentively. After me the rulers of my ummah will be like the aristocrats. To them there will be no difference between justice and injustice and between truth and falsehood. But whosoever goes to them to justify their falsehood, and supports them in their injustice, will have no connection with me, and will not reach me at the cistern of Kauthar, and the man who has no connection with them, does not justify their falsity, and does not support them in their injustice, will be from me and I will be from him, and he will reach me at the cistern of Kauthar." 22. Every sensible man can understand that under the circumstances Abu Dhar could not care about any power. His conduct, apart from being natural and innate, was the result of the Holy Prophet's teaching. There is not a single instance recorded in the authentic histories to show that in his lifetime Abu Dhar had ever hesitated to tell the truth. Jalam ibn Jandal Ghifari, the governor of Chinsaran, says, "Once, during the caliphate of Uthman, when I was the governor of Chinsaran, I went to Muawiyah, the governor of Syria, on some business. Suddenly I heard that somebody was shouting at the gate of the palace and was saying loudly, 'The line of camels coming to you is laden with the hellfire. May Allah curse those who ask others to do good but do not do it themselves. May Allah curse those who prohibit others from evil but commit them themselves.' At that time, I saw that the face of Muawiyah changed color on account of anger. He asked me if I recognized the man who was crying. I answered in the negative. Then Muawiyah said, 'This is Jandab ibn Janada Ghifari. He comes to the gate of our palace daily and repeats the same words that you heard just now.' Then he ordered him to be killed. Suddenly I saw that Yaquduna brought Abu Dhar dragging and made him stand in front. Muawiyah said to him, 'O the enemy of Allah and his Prophet, you come daily to us and repeat such words. I would have surely got you killed if I could kill any companion of the Prophet without Uthman's permission. Now I will get his permission regarding you. I wanted to see Abu Dhar because he was from our tribe. When I looked at him, I saw he was tawny-colored, lean and tall. His beard was not thick, and his back was bent on account of old age.' Abu Dhar said in answer to Muawiyah, 'I am not an enemy of Allah and his Prophet, but you are the enemy of Allah and his Prophet, and your father was also an enemy of Allah and his Prophet. You people professed Islam for self-interest but remained infidels at heart. The Prophet of Islam cursed you twice and damned you so that you may never be satiated. I have heard from the Prophet of Allah that his ummah should remain on guard against the mischief of the man with big eyes and wide gullet, who is never satiated with food although he eats too much, when he becomes the ruler of his ummah.' Hearing this, Muawiyah said, 'I am not that man spoken of by the Messenger of Allah.' Abu Dhar said, 'O Muawiyah, it is no use denying that you are definitely the same man, and listen, the Prophet has informed me that by that man he meant you and you alone. O Muawiyah, one day when you were passing in front of the Prophet, I heard him say, O Allah, damn him, and do not fill his stomach except with dust. O Muawiyah, I have heard him also say that Muawiyah's flank is in hell fire. Hearing this, Muawiyah laughed shamefully, ordered him to be arrested, sent him to prison and wrote to Uthman about the whole affair. 23. Having sent Abu Dhar to prison, Muawiyah in his letter to Uthman complained against Abu Dhar, which meant that he should be called back from Syria. Accordingly, Uthman called him from Syria to Medina. A camel rider started with Muawiyah's letter and presented it before Uthman at Medina. As soon as Uthman received the letter, he at once wrote back to Muawiyah, Your letter to hand. I came to know what you wrote about Abu Dhar. As soon as you receive this letter, send Abu Dhar to Medina on the back of a rash camel with a hard-hearted rider who keeps the camel running day and night in order to send Abu Dhar to sleep so that he forgets to speak of you and me both. On receipt of this letter, Muawiyah sent for Abu Dhar and made him ride on the bare back of a mischievous camel with a cruel rider. He told the rider to keep the camel running day and night and not to let him stop at any place till he reaches Medina. Abu Dhar was tall and lean and by that time had become so old that all the hair of his head and beard